Hi, this is Brad Cleveland. Welcome to the Q&A series, Thriving in the New Era of Customer Relationships. Today's question is, how is customer patience, customer tolerance with queues, etc., changing? We know they're more demanding, but we've got to balance that with resource requirements and budgets. We would like your thoughts on how to gauge what's acceptable in terms of queues, etc. Great. It's a great question. Given the rapid evolution of customer expectations, it really is essential to understand the individual factors that drive customer perceptions and behavior. Why are they doing what they're doing and seeing what they're seeing? And then shape services accordingly. There are 7 factors that affect your customer's tolerance. They influence everything from how long will customers wait in queue, how many will abandon, what channels will they use, phone, chat, social, mobile, and others, and how will they feel about the overall experience, vis-a-vis the expectations that they had. So these 7 include, first of all, the degree of motivation. How important is the interaction? What are the consequences for the customer of not getting through? How badly does the customer need or want the product or service? For example, customers experiencing a power outage will usually wait longer to reach their utility than those with a simple billing question for obvious reasons. Motivation is inherently higher today given the filter of other channels that customers use, often beginning with search before they even get to the contact center. So by the time they arrive, they're pretty eager to get help. Second factor is the availability of substitutes. Even though they're highly motivated to make the call, callers who encounter difficulties may abandon if they know there's other ways to satisfy the need. For example, if they encounter an extended wait by phone, they might jump to an alternative like a mobile app or switch to chat or send a targeted message to a company through a social channel or follow up through other sorts of means. You can think of a bunch of possibilities. Gee, I've been waiting on hold for 20 minutes to reach XYZ. You can see the Twitter messages that may go out if this doesn't work so well on some of these channels. A third factor is the competition service level. If it's easy for customers to use competitive services or if they've had a tough time reaching you, they may go elsewhere. You'll need to consider whether competition is available in a practical sense. If you're a bank and a customer has a problem with an online payment, a competitive bank is not going to be able to help specifically in that case. But if the problem gets persistent, they may switch banks. I mean, there's degrees of how far this could go. It's also important to consider the availability of substitutes that a contact center often has on its own competition, if you will. The result of transferred calls, inflated reports, longer handling times if you've got multiple channels involved. A fourth factor is level of expectations. The experiences customers have had with the contact center and the reputation the organization or the industry has for service is going to have a bearing. A 10-minute wait for tax help during filing season may be perceived as okay. A similar wait for a shipping company that otherwise has a reputation for speedy service, that'd be an unpleasant surprise. The services that customers receive from any organization, including those in industries completely different from yours, have a bearing on their expectations. A fifth factor is time available. How much time do customers have at the time of the contact? Smartphones have created a really interesting phenomenon. Many small windows of time that your customers have to reach you, such as before they board a flight or in between meetings or when long waits are unworkable and frustrating, these little windows. And this has been a fascinating issue to watch develop. As individuals, we increasingly value how we perceive a company's respect of our time, which is becoming so central to our perceptions of service. A sixth factor is who's paying for the interaction. Developments here really are working in our favor, meaning they're giving contact centers a bit more margin, a bit more breathing room. All things equal. I was recently working in Russia from where I use a Skype-like service to call into a couple hour-long conference call in the U.S. and the total cost was less than $2. So that really is a factor that's beginning to work itself out and give us more breathing room. Now, if they have mobile service and they're paying for blocks of time and they don't get right through, then there could be a measure of frustration. That could be a factor. So that is something to keep your eye on. Mobile really is changing the game in so many ways. A seventh and final factor, human behavior. The weather, the customer's mood, the day's news, whether it's a full moon, who knows? All these things have a bearing on tolerance. But in general, our customers are growing less tolerant of cues. Right? I think we all know that. So it's important to have a general understanding of these factors affecting your customer's tolerance. You can then consider questions such as, well, what type of customer is least motivated? What type of customer is most motivated? What are their expectations? What kinds of channels are they using around different expectations? What alternatives to contacting you do they have? How much does tolerance vary based on the reason for the contact? What impact does meeting or not meeting expectations have on your brand? Getting through easily and quickly is more important than ever, and the 7 factors help answer why. They help you think through your customers' expectations, their situations, and build services that truly do meet their needs. Great question. Keep your eye on these 7 factors and you'll be on the right track. Thanks for the question. Keep them coming and I'll be back soon.